Well, another interesting survey says Southeast Asia is leading the adoption of new technologies. Much of that is signaled by the high penetration of e-wallets, cryptocurrency and non-fungible tokens compared to markets such as China, the US, the EU and Japan. According to a new study on the digital economy and e-commerce by consultancy Meta and Bain Company, almost 70% of people here have used at least one metaverse-related tech, like virtual and augmented reality, in the last year. 16,000 participants across 6 countries were surveyed, including Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, the Philippines and Singapore.
For more on this, let's speak to the Singapore MD of Meta, Damian Kim. Good evening, Damian, and welcome to the program. I mean, this region is well into Web 3.0. Your report says Southeast Asia is leading the adoption of future technologies. What is driving this interest?
Yeah, so the report that we did this year and the findings there really, showed that Southeast Asia is the most active part of the world as it relates to kind of adoption and acceptance of these emerging technologies. So as you mentioned, e-wallets, digital banking, Web3 sort of affiliated things like NFTs. And that really reinforces that the region, and if we look at Singapore, it's just really a tech-forward or, kind of tech-leaning sort of population. A good sort of legacy example of this is mobile phone technology or smartphones. I recall coming here when I moved here in 2009, when the iPhone 3G was really a relatively new device. Kind of everyone in Singapore already had an iPhone or a BlackBerry or even both. And that really speaks to also what we see here in Singapore is that 97% of the population here are already digital consumers. And that was another kind of interesting area of trends that we saw was that in the digital commerce space, people are sort of blending this sort of online shopping behavior with offline shopping behavior. A second one is actually around business messaging. And so that messaging is kind of this way that people are expecting to interact with businesses. And the third one is really just video and video content and the content producers of that of the video. And that's really growing exponentially here.
Since you mentioned business, Mr. Kim, metaverse technology like VR for business looks set to become more common in the next 10 to 15 years. Paint us a picture of what that might mean for the average office worker.
Yeah. So we're obviously incredibly excited about kind of contributing and helping build a lot of the foundational technologies for the metaverse. If we're talking about 10 years from now, if we take this conversation as an example, right now I'm kind of on a Zoom call speaking with you. We're in different locations, and that's very obvious. One of the things that we believe will be enabled or will be possible is that distinction will become less and less. And what that means is actually that we'll have this real sense of presence. So if I was actually kind of virtually in the studio with you, we would feel like we were actually really together. And one of the things that we also are learning is that that's not just about sort of the high resolution fidelity of the visual representation, but there are a lot of sort of multi-sensory things that have to take place or have to be enabled. One of those things is audio, so spatial audio. If I was with you in the studio and I was sitting to your left, let's say, it's important that actually when I'm speaking to you, that sound is coming from your left. And that's how you know where I am in the space. We also know there are a lot of subtle things like expression. And so in our upcoming headsets, there are actually sensors that are looking at the face of the person using the device so that we can pick up and actually convey and represent facial expressions, and also so we can synchronize the movement of the lips to what when someone's talking, and that makes it feel much more real. And we believe these are the things that are going to be possible that will really make people actually feel like they are together and therefore able to connect in a much more realistic and meaningful way, as well as collaborate much more effectively.
So, Damian, what I hear you say is this is all about the experience and the kind of experience that you will get if you are in a metaverse. So consumers, they want to be able to move easily between online and offline worlds when it comes to shopping. Is this what people want in this region? Do you see this trajectory continuing?
I think, where we are today versus, where we'll be in 10 years, it's a pretty long time as it relates to kind of technology innovation. I think what we're seeing right now, really kind of coming out of the pandemic, is that over the course of the last couple of years, around 90 million new digital consumers have been activated in the Southeast Asia region, right? That's the equivalent of kind of the UK and Australia combined. So there's a total around 370 million digital consumers that are now shopping online. As markets have opened up, as have things in Singapore, the malls are open, people are getting back out. We're seeing that actually offline shopping is sort of reactivating or reemerging. But then what people expect is this kind of hybrid or integrated experience between those two things. One of the personal experiences that I've had, my wife and I are renovating our home, and we needed to look for appliances. And so we were looking for a refrigerator. We started looking at different brands and models online. We went then to a local appliance shop here and spoke with a salesperson, and they helped us understand which model that we wanted to get. And then actually we went back online during one of the 7/7 sales promotions and bought that. And we think that's kind of the behavior that we're really seeing, is that people are both shopping online, and so that behavior is sticking, but they're also going offline, and then they're combining those two. And so we're working with businesses here to really help them understand that and figure out how they design experiences that optimize around that.
Well, thanks so much for that. Damian Kim, Singapore Managing Director of Meta, speaking to us there.